Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone having a wonderful day. Is Josh Duggar's release from prison coming sooner than anticipated? The world exhaled a sigh of relief when Josh Duggar was handed a 12.5-year prison term in December 2021 on child pornography-related charges. There was some solace in the fact that Josh, a longtime sexual predator, would not be able to claim any new victims for the foreseeable future, despite the fact that many had hoped for a longer sentence. Regrettably, even sexual offenders rarely complete their sentences. And the revelation that Josh almost probably won't serve the full 151 months in prison has angered many. Yes, as we stated earlier this week, a potential release date for Josh has been determined. Sadly, it won't be here in 12.5 years. Josh's release date has been set by the Federal Bureau of Prisons for August 12. Prisoners often complete only 85% of their sentences. Since Josh is a first-time offender, he will likely spend only around 10 years in prison if he stays out of trouble. Technically speaking, we say technically since Josh has a long history of offenses, yet he never received punishment for them. Josh abused 5 young girls while still in his teens, including 4 of his sisters. His parents assisted him in covering up his misdeeds and avoiding punishment, but they eventually caved under pressure from their neighbors to call the police. In spite of the fact that Josh was never detained or charged, the existence of that documentation allowed prosecutors to bring up the subject of his prior sex crimes during Josh's child pornography trial. During Josh's sentencing hearing, they brought up his history of abusing children once more, asking for a 20-year sentence, in part because of his previous sexual exploitation. Take into account the exceptional efforts Duggar took to get and see child sexual abuse materials, CSAM, the nature of the CSAM he obtained and watched, and other factors, according to the prosecution. His attempts to hide his criminal activity and his inability to accept responsibility or admit any of his criminal activity. Even after taking all of those factors into account, the judge imposed a comparatively light sentence of 151 months. Observers have noticed that the judge received letters from Josh's wife and parents pleading for compassion. And it was evident from those letters that despite his decades of predatory behavior, they had continued to maintain their faith in his innocence. That implies that Josh will be surrounded by enablers who are delusional whenever he is eventually released. Thankfully, Josh will have to complete 20 months of supervised release after being released from prison. Stay tuned with Gossip Time. Thank you for your support. Goodbye.